No, you got to do nothing. I got you all set up. It's pulled up.
It is 8 a.m. on Tuesday, October 8th, 2024, and I call the Economic Development Authority meeting to order. Item number 1 is the roll call. We have 5 members present, and we do have a quorum. Item 2.1 is the EDA September 10th, 2024 minutes.
I didn't have any questions. I'll make a motion to approve the EDA September 10th, 2024 minutes.
I will second that.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Item 3.1, we will move down into other business. That moves us to number 4.1, administrative activities for September 2024.
Good morning, President Mark Graff and Commissioners. You have the report in your packet. Just wanted to give an update on the solar panel project at the public housing properties. All 6 scattered site properties, the installation's been completed and they've all passed their state electrical inspection. So they've submitted all that information to PUC. The Broadway House inspection is pending. The state inspector came, he wanted a few changes, so they're working on scheduling someone to come back to do that. It'll get inspected again, and then we should be able to move forward. So what I thought was going to be a quick project is starting to drag on, but we're getting there. As long as we see progress, we're happy. Note under the EDA report, the rental house at 320 North Broadway has been moved to 1007 North Minnesota Street. And we're working with the renters on purchasing the home, and that's being done on the city council side of things. And then we're working on the sale of the 3 lots, and that should be closing in the near future. Chris, do you have a date on that yet?
No closing date yet on that, but it should be in the next couple of weeks.
Okay. And then note, Oak Hills Living Center requested a letter of support from the EDA for a grant application they were working on. A letter was provided, and that's attached to the report for your review. I have nothing else to highlight for you. End of staff report, but I'm happy to answer any questions you may have.
It was a nice letter for Oak Hills. Thank you for doing that.
I'll make a motion to accept the Economic Development Authority administrative activities for the month of September 2024.
I will second.
Go ahead.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Item 5.1, EDA October 8th, 2024 claims list.
I reviewed this. I didn't see anything out of the ordinary. Heather, anything you wanted to note?
No.
That being said, I'll make a motion to approve the EDA October 8th, 2024 claims list.
I will second that too.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor say aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Item 6.1, EDA loan to Vintage and Vinyl.
Commissioner President, Commissioners, this is a small $2,500 loan like we did during COVID to businesses. They've been dealing with construction for the past couple of months, a little hard to get to their business, and they don't do internet sales. So this would be a small $2,500 loan, 0% interest rate. Term would be 2 years, so roughly a little over $100 a month, and then payments wouldn't start until January 1st, 2025. So construction should be done in front of their store by the end of this month, early November. So that gives them a little time to get the word out that people can park in front of their store again, and then they should be able to make those payments next year. The only condition on that is they'll have to sign a personal guarantee as well.
I will make a motion to authorize the loan for Vintage and Vinyl in the amount of $2,500. Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion?
I just want to say I think it is nice that we are doing this loan as an EDA. I know that the business has been impacted, but to remind people that that was a conditional use permit, and that that area is not designed for this type of business, that that was an exception made, but just another case of how our EDA is willing to work with our community and the businesses.
I do have a discussion point as well. I am in favor of this, but I would, I don't know how to say this. I don't want things to just keep popping up like this. I would like, if this is something we want to do, that this is something we put in our strategic plan and have something going forward where we have a good decision-making process behind it and not just, oh, this sounds good and we have the money and let's give it to these folks. But
enough.
that being said, we do have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. We are now going to pull 3.1 into the agenda, the public hearing for the sale of EDA property, Garden Terrace Properties. I do have a conflict of interest as one of the partners in this is who has an interest in Garden Terrace's Oak Hills. I will cede the gavel to VP Kalk and leave for this section.
Thank you, Michelle. Okay, so we are going to public hearing for the sale of the EDA property Garden Terrace. If you have any questions or comments, you're welcome to come up to the podium, state your name and address.
Thank you. My name is Peg Zundell. I live at Garden Terrace 1. I guess I was expecting maybe a little explanation of how this would work or what it is. So I guess my questions are, is this open for bids? Is everybody available to buy it? How does the sale work? And where does Oak Hills fit into this project?
So we did go out to bid about about 2 years ago, and we rejected the offers at that point in time. Currently, the party interested in purchasing the property just submitted a bid, so we went through the process with them, kind of vetted their bid, had multiple discussions with the EDA about that. Between that point in time when they submitted their offer to this point in time, we've had multiple inquiries from other individuals looking to potentially put in a bid. None of those individuals have submitted a bid, and we've given the same information that we gave Rebound Partners, and none of them have submitted a bid at that point in time. We do not have to actually go out for RFP for sale of property. We did the first time just to see what was out there, and with this last bid that we got, it was just we were talking to them, said, hey, we'd like to put in a bid, and they submitted an offer sheet, and we started that process to vet it. So that's kind of where we're at with that. As far as Oak Hills is concerned, part of the purchase agreement is for the current buildings that are there. The Oak Hills does have first right of refusal on the buildings if Rebound Partners chooses to sell. But Rebound Partners is also going to potentially work with Oak Hills on a third development on that lower spot there as well. So they are actively working with Oak Hills to facilitate a potential expansion to campus at a future date.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. Any other questions?
I just want to add that one of the bigger reasonings for wanting to work with this developer in particular was their willingness to work with and collaborate with Oak Hills, knowing that that is a facility that we need to support. And given they're not in a position to acquire the properties themselves right now, that can still be an option to them in the future when hopefully that could be more of a realistic possibility. But in the meantime, especially with this third building, being willing to help solve some of those problems we're facing in our community. I really appreciated that about these developers specifically.
I also appreciated the fact that they're looking to improve the area with amenities, such as like walking trails, pickleball courts, grilling areas, other things like that.
I believe it's important for the city of New Ulm to get out of the business of housing in fair market value. I believe that it depresses the potential investment of private developers if they're competing with an entity like a city. And so, in my opinion, economic development, this property, which presently has been considered not in the tax base, if you will, there has been a payment made by the city, but not nearly the $120,000 or $140,000 a year. So we would be having tax income from this, which would put it back on the rolls and also encourage private development. I think we have 3 or 4 private developers that are looking at housing in New Ulm, but with the city competing with them, or they with the city, it makes it more difficult as far as leveraging for loans and so on. So I support this wholeheartedly.
I will say I concur with the mayor's sentiments and that I agree. You know, given my time in local government here, I'm frequently asked about Garden Terrace. I've actually, over time, been on both sides of this issue. At first saying, you know, we should sell and we shouldn't own all of this property. And then I thought, oh, well, this does generate a lot of income for our EDA that we can use to maintain and manage a lot of the projects that we have put in place to support everything from home improvements for those who may be looking to sell their homes, or first-time home buyers, small business grants. And so there's something to be said for that. But when I got the information on, you know, what we can be doing with some of that revenue and how we can better serve the community that way, and as the mayor said, get out of kind of that space where we are preventing others from being competitive. We all know that housing is an issue here, and I feel like this is the right move for the city at this time. And we do have a nice offer, and I'm looking forward to having this move forward.
Very good. Any other questions or comments?
Good morning. People, 1927 Crestview Drive, New Ulm, retired CPA. It was about 50 years ago when I came back to New Ulm and started a CPA practice. So I've been hanging around downtown a long time. Dealt with a lot of businesses, a lot of individuals. I would humbly submit that I think I have a pretty good grip on the economics of what goes on in New Ulm. And I really endorse what Andrea and Kathleen just mentioned. The city does need to get out of the market rate rental housing and get that capital deployed elsewhere more usefully. What hasn't been mentioned is that if this sale proceeds, there's about $8 million in the city coffers. $7 million from the property and $1 million of reserve sitting there that then becomes available. You've got 2 major developers looking at downtown improvements, the George's Ballroom property and the old Marketplace Mall. The city will have some needs for infrastructure to support that. And now you would have the capital to do that. And that's significant. That's where the city can best render its assets, and that's to facilitate development, not to compete. Quick anecdote, if there's any doubt about the city's past history and the influence on the market rate housing. About 2017, 2018, when Community Housing Development Corp came into New Ulm to do the Emerson Union property. Their initial plan was to do market rate housing. They ran the numbers and they couldn't do it. The structure was beautiful, terrazzo floors, high ceilings, large windows, great infrastructure for market rate housing. They ran the numbers, and when Heidi Rothman came to some of us that were also involved, said, we can't do it because your market rate rentals and your low-income housing rentals are $100 apart. And Heidi's comment was, I have never seen anywhere in this state that kind of a tight gap. such low market rate rentals for obvious reasons. So it became low-income housing, and that's great. We needed the housing either way. They're beautiful structure, they're beautiful properties, beautiful rentals, but it wasn't the market rate housing that was also needed. And that would continue to be the pattern without the market taking hold and having the influence and, as Kathleen said, allowing more development. So I think the reasons are very compelling. I think the timing is very good. Don't misconstrue the past history as having any villains. Everybody meant well. This was a situation at day one with Garden Terrace where we needed housing. I chaired the chamber back in the late 80s. We were losing CPAs because we couldn't house them in New Ulm. They were commuting from Mankato, and a year or two later, they're gone. So what the city did then made some sense. But the law and history, we've learned, the unintended consequences, has inhibited the market rate. So I hope you'll do the right thing. I'm deeply invested in how New Ulm succeeds. The good news is I'm retired and I don't have to deal with trying to keep CPAs in New Ulm anymore. But I'm hopeful that my successors and all those other businesses in town will benefit from your actions. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. We're looking for a resolution?
I guess I'd make sure if anyone else wants to be heard, they speak now, or we're going to be closing the public hearing.
Would anybody else like to step to the podium and make comments or have questions for us? And then we will close the public hearing. No?
So, yeah, we'll need a motion in a second.
Okay. We need looking for a motion to close the public hearing.
I'll make a motion to close the public hearing.
Looking for a second.
I'll second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any further discussion?
Do we need to read the whole motion into the record?
That'll be the resolution.
A motion to close the public hearing?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The resolution.
Because it's more than just closing the public hearing, you need to offer the resolution as well.
So
Okay.
just read all of 3.1.
I think, Heather, is that you?
No, whoever made
it's
the
the person making the motion.
Okay.
Okay, so I will offer a resolution authorizing with conditions the sale of EDA-owned properties located at 10.
No, not that
3.1, 3.1,
This is the public hearing.
the public hearing.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
So offer the resolution closing.
So I will offer the resolution closing the public hearing regarding the sale of EDA property located at 1001 and 1021 North Garden Street and the vacant lot identified by parcel number 001.570.178.004.90.
Again, I second.
All right. We call roll call.
Commissioner Berg,
Yes.
Commissioner Betker,
Yes.
Commissioner Henn,
Yes.
Vice President Kalk.
Yes. We have,
That it carries.
okay. Resolution carries.
7.1.
7.1.
And then item 7.1, authorize sale of EDA owned by Garden Terrace. We are looking for a resolution.
I'll offer the resolution authorizing with conditions the sale of EDA-owned properties located at 1001 and 1021 North Garden Street and the vacant lot identified by parcel number 001.570.178.004.90 to Rebound Real Estate for $7.3 million and authorize the executive director to execute all necessary documents related to that sale.
I will second.
All right. And then the resolution carries.
No.
We have to do roll call.
Donna,
Sorry.
call roll.
Yeah, well, I mean, is there any discussion? Does anyone have any questions?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Any further questions? And then none. So I would ask Heather to call roll.
Right. Commissioner Berg,
Yes.
Commissioner Betker,
Yes.
Commissioner Henn,
Yes.
Vice President Kalk.
Yes. And the resolution carries. And I will yield back to President Markgraf. Basically to close the meeting.
Item 8.1, Economic Development Activity Report.
All right, I'll just highlight a few items for you. New Ulm Partnership met last month and heard a presentation by the Rebound Partners Revocity team. Childcare team met, and the annual Provider Appreciation Training event has been planned, and registration is open. Last time I checked, we had about 30 providers had registered, but they have a couple weeks yet, so those numbers could go up. And then you see the other activity in here. I'll just highlight that First Children's Finance invited me to be one of their panelists at an event in Hutchinson, Innovative Childcare Solutions in Greater Minnesota. So I talked about our pod model at Westridge Place. I have to say the audience was very engaged. They were taking notes like crazy, asking really good questions. So childcare is definitely still a hot topic in the state and the nation, for that matter. And Wendy Anderson is here to talk about her third quarter report. If you have any questions for her, her report is attached. Otherwise, end of report.
And then just a couple side notes. We did record the deed for George's, so we're just waiting for the county to record that, and then we can get the deed to the Fisher Group, and then they will mobilize demolition sometime this year still. We are still waiting to hear from the state for the grant that we applied for. We were on their agenda to receive, I think it was $950,000 for the Riverhaven project. So we're waiting word to see if their board approved that, but we were on the list as a possible recipient. So that'll help with the housing project up by the airport. And then, as Heather had mentioned, the house has been moved, and we're just waiting for the buyer's attorney to set the closing date, and we'll get that closed hopefully in the next couple of weeks.
Thank you, Wendy, for your report. It looks like we're keeping you busy.
If there's no comments, I'll make a motion to accept the Economic Development Activity Report for September 2024 activities.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Item 9.1, New Ulm Business Resource and Innovation Center, third quarter report.
Good morning, friends. Tim Kanak, EDA. I want to address the EDA and just say that we have not submitted a report, and the reason for that is we've been really busy trying to restructure New Brick. We are looking for a new opportunity to develop relationships. I think that's our number one goal in our community. And we do have a short update. We're excited to announce that we have Project Lead the Way, which is one of our pillars, education in the public middle school. So that is starting already. It's in progress. Cathedral is looking at continuing this program next year. They lost 2 of their teachers. And Minnesota Valley Lutheran is very active in Project Lead the Way. So one of our pillars has been very successful. Along with that, part of our report would have been to include part of our mission. And our mission is education industry. And when we look at the other thing that's probably missing today with New Brick is, what are we doing about housing, right? Housing is a big issue in New Ulm. And I'm excited to say that has become one of our initiatives, one of our goals. And we're looking at an affordable housing initiative. It's a concept right now. And we're excited to work with the EDA and the city of New Ulm on that. And Steve will have more to say about that probably in a couple months here. So with that said, the CTE Center is something that we're looking at right now as an initiative to become a profit center, not only for the educational system and the community, but for New Brick. So there's a concept out there right now that we're working on as a board that should be exciting for the community. Not only as the students potentially would be paid for their work, but community members to come in and actually look at manufacturing in different areas. Again, it's just a concept. We're in early discussions with the school district on this. So, with that said, I think that New Brick is in a really good place right now. And we're excited to work with the EDA because you guys have been great partners. We appreciate that. We also would like to, at this point, just say maybe some consideration to continue to support New Brick in a financial way. And we just want to ask for that at this point in time. With that said, I'm excited to announce Stephen Brown, our new executive director. Stephen.
Hello, everyone. My name's Stephen Brown, and I'm new to New Ulm. I'm very excited about it and working with New Brick and trying to bring their vision together with yours and really help this community. My background is in development and construction and entrepreneurship and franchising, and have been very successful. And this is a new challenge, and in meeting everyone in the community has been fantastic, and we've already really started to get working on a bunch of these things and trying to put together plans to bring them all to fruition rather quickly. So at this point, I'm 1 month in, and have had a really good time, and hope to see you all around very frequently. So, have any questions for me? No. Okay.
Commissioners, what are your wishes?
Well, we don't have a report to make a motion to accept, so.
Just the oral report.
Okay, I make a motion to accept the oral report from New Brick, third quarter.
I'll second that.
I just want to make a quick note that although there has not been a report submitted in the last month, Steve has immersed himself in our community greatly as someone brand new to it, and has met with a lot of people and had a lot of conversations, and is working on building positive relationships, which I think is step one for anyone new coming into this role, and it's appreciated. So I would ask that we as an EDA give them grace on this first report and look at how we are going to build together moving forward, and not so much looking at the past.
Any further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. There being no further items on the agenda, this meeting is dismissed.
Thank you.